What's up, team? Here's page 72, problems 14 and 15. This is what we did in class on October 7th. It was a Wednesday, so if you want to review or if you missed the class, here you go. Okay, so we are given these facts. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and we know that the measure of angle 4 is 30 degrees. And then this is the figure. It's three lines that are intersecting at the same point here, and then all the angles are named just arbitrarily 1 through 6. We don't know the angle measures based on the figure, but we do know a few things over here. Our task is to prove that the measure of angle 2 is also 30 degrees. So let's write some things in for our givens here. We know that the measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 2 are congruent to one another. So that means this angle here and this angle here are going to have the same exact measure. That glare is a bummer. Sorry about that. Okay, so those two angles are congruent to one another. Additionally, we know that the measure of angle 4 is 30 degrees, so let's write that in. And our task is to prove that angle 2 is also 30 degrees. So let's kind of lay out a game plan here before we even start with statements and reasons. Let's lay out a game plan. I am noticing that angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles. That means that they are going to be congruent to one another. So I'm going to add another one of these little hash marks here. So all three of these angles must be congruent. Additionally, 2 and 5 are congruent to one another. So all four of those are going to have the exact same angle measure. That's pretty neat. That's pretty helpful, actually. So here we know angle 1 and angle 4 have the same measure, and we're given the fact that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent, so then they have the same angle measure. Therefore, I think we can reasonably conclude that the measure of angle 2 here is 30 degrees. Okay, so that's the idea. That's kind of the outline of sorts. Now we need to write it out formally. We need to create our argument, because remember, our audience, whoever's reading this proof, we have to assume that they think we're wrong, and we have to convince them that we are right. So here we go. Statement 1. What I would say here is I'd write the first given statement down. I'd say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and my reason is it's given. Now we're going to build on this. So we laid out that piece of given information. Let's build on this. So if the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2, angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent to one another, then we know that the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2, and we know that because that is the definition of congruent angles. A lot of abbreviation here just because of space. If I'm you and I'm writing this on paper, I would write out the word definition of congruent angles. I'd write out all the words. But if you want to use symbols, it's not wrong. I'm just using it because of space. I'd prefer the words. Okay, step 3. Here's kind of where we're going to break the thing open a little bit. We need to make an observation based on the figure at this point in time. Or at least that's what I would suggest doing. I'm noticing that angle 1 and angle 4 are vertical angles. We mentioned that a moment ago. So I'm going to go to the point and say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. And how do I know that? Because of the proof that we did in class on Monday and Tuesday, we know that this is true because of vertical angle theorem. I'm abbreviating theorem as THM, again, just because I ran out of space. So vertical angle theorem. That's how we know angle 1 and angle 4 are congruent to one another. Similarly to what we did from step 1 to step 2, we need to we need to spell that out a little bit. So we're going to say the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 4, and again, just like step 2, I wrote 2 again, so this is a 4. Definition of congruent angles. Okay, so we know that measure of angle 1 and 2 are the same. We know that 1 and 4 are the same. So we can go, we can get to the point now where we can say reasonably that the measure of angle 2 equals the measure of angle 4. And we know that really we're just combining our information from steps 2 and 4. Because if 1 has the same value as 2 and 1 has the same value as 4, then 1, 2, and 4 all have the same value. We want to focus on 2 and 4. Why do we want to focus on 2 and 4? Well, here's a little foreshadowing. In a minute, we're going to show that the measure of angle 4 is 30 degrees because it's given, and then if we know that these two are the same, we've then proven our statement. So there are 2 more steps coming, and that's where we're headed here. So statement 5, how do we know that this is true? Again, if measure of angle 1 is the same as 2 and measure of angle 1 is the same as 4, we're just using the transitive property here. Transitive property. Okay, so we're going to have 2 more steps, 6, 7. What I would say now is I would introduce my final given statement. It seems funny to introduce a given statement here at the end, but it's just where it fits in this particular proof. So I'm going to say that the measure of angle 4 is 30 degrees because that's given. And now I'm going to combine the information and really just do a little bit of a substitution here. So we know that this statement is true. The measure of angle 2 is the same as the measure of angle 4. And we know that 4 is 30 degrees. So we're just going to substitute this 30 degrees in for the measure of angle 4. So that statement will say the measure of angle 2 equals 30 degrees. And this is substitution. Technically, substitution property. Okay, there we go. Here is our proof. This is number, what number is it? It's on the screen. 14. Number 14 on page 72. Let's talk about number 15. Number 15 doesn't require a proof. It's just asking what are the angle measures for, it's asked specifically about angle 3, angle 5, and angle 6. I'm going to go a little above and beyond and just do 1 through 6. We're going to show all of these angle measures here. So I've already showed that angle 1, 2, 4, and 5 are all the same. So these are all 30. 30, 30, and 30. Now 3 and 6, this is our task. This is something we need to tackle. So here's how I would approach this one. I would focus first on angle 3. And really, once you have 3, we have vertical angles here. So we only have to do we only have to solve for one thing here. Notice how this is a straight line here. So the angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is going to equal 180 degrees. So we know that angle 1 plus angle 2 is 60. So angle 3 up here is just going to be 180 minus 60. And that is going to equal 120 degrees. So if that is 120, we have 120 degrees down here as well. Okay, no assignment attached to this. I just wanted to show you so you have it for your reference, use it for review, use it for whatever you need to use it for. All right, have a nice day.